Yeah. Well, we need to talk about, you were talking, Norm, about the data being too much to handle, and there's another potential too much to handle situation going on with respect to the election, and maybe the asteroid will save us, maybe it won't. And that is the fact that some places, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The asteroid's not going to kill us, but the UFO behind it will. So.
Yes, right. With the lizard people in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So not everybody is going to be able to show up at the polls because they're afraid of UFOs and lizard people, or they're actually afraid of a virus that they're susceptible to, and they don't want to go to the polls, and they want to mail in their votes. That could be a big problem because apparently Trump has just bombed the U.S. Postal Service headquarters or something. I'm making that up.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's it. I mean, it might as
please be careful.
Metaphorically, yeah, I know. Gonna get away with certain things here.
YouTube just shut us down.
A giant T-Rex just ate the U.S. Postal Service.
Yes.
Judging by the T-shirt.
Judging by his T-shirt, seems legit.
Yeah.
So the U.S. Postal Service, founded in the Jurassic era. We probably should update it, right? So, as libertarians, we're all about privatizing the Postal Service. If you're a constitutional libertarian, I've heard that term thrown around, then I guess the Postal Service belongs here, whatever. But there is an issue going on, and that is like the competency of the U.S. Postal Service. And the one comment that I have is it does seem a little odd that the U.S. Postal Service Workers Union has endorsed Biden, and they're going to be the ones handling the votes getting to the poll, wherever they get to be counted.
Yeah.
It does seem like a conflict of interest. Maybe somebody can shed light on how that's not such a big problem. And I don't want to go oh, they're going to just, not count any Republican votes. But, it does seem a little odd. What do you guys think?
I would only be worried about postal workers interfering with the election if they had portable clothes steamers and flashlights holding up to each one of the mail-in ballots just to see, which one is that again? That's the one that we have to be worried about.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something, and I have no idea if this is true because I don't have a ballot. I haven't seen it myself, but what I saw was that somebody was saying that there are barcodes on the outside of the envelope, and they have the party that you're registered for in the barcode. And so you have a little D for Democrat and R for Republican.
It's like 4509D or 4508.
Something like that. So, I wouldn't be so worried about union people screwing around with it if there were no identifying markers on the outside of the envelopes. But if that's true, then
shouldn't we also though be concerned with the people who are the election workers themselves?
Well, that's been a problem. That's been a problem here in New Mexico for years with elections.
It seems like an ancillary problem to, a more,
this
is a second order problem as opposed to a first order problem over here.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a big deal to me. The barcode thing, until we can legitimately confirm or deny that, I think we have to kind of withhold some judgment. It would seem like if that's a reality, then okay, there seems to be potential, but there are surely there are ways around this. And I don't know. And that's coming from I don't really think that voting matters all that much.
Right.
And
just
oh my gosh.
Accuracy's sake. The AP reported a story where it said the ballot envelopes showing party affiliation were for the primaries only because the primaries are necessary for the different parties.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes
sense to me. Yeah. And I can see why people would get all up in arms because that makes completely understandable why they would.
Yeah.
But if this is different, then that shows. But I will say I have spoken to some legal eagles when it comes to mail-in voting, and they said that mail-in voting is actually not a problem for those who want a clean election. They only matter for those who actually want to make their vote, quote unquote, count, because almost over half of the mail-in voting does not get counted anyway, and they hardly go through it. If it's
so you mean in on the day of the election?
Correct. That
okay.
They don't
get counted. They just get counted later.
they don't even, frankly, open it. Even the absentee ballots, as long as the polls don't get within a specific ratio. So
that's interesting.
yeah,
that's interesting.
If the polling is very clearly separated for one candidate over another, they don't even worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
if
simple
you have
math
a million
would mean
people, if you've got 1 million votes for Biden and 1,000 votes for Trump, and then you have 1,000 mail-in ballots, then that doesn't affect the outcome at all.
Which is reasonable. But then
I get what you mean.
But then people feel like, well, mine wasn't literally counted. Well, except it doesn't matter.
Actually,
what way.
Matt, that does speak to the libertarian, the radical libertarian critique of voting itself, which is that your vote really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that much. No. Well, it's kind of just going off the basis of what the wave is doing, and you may or may not be a droplet in the ocean. But
so, do you think we're gonna see the election not called the night of or the next morning this year?
I gotta say, I don't.
This is
think
2020. We don't
that,
have any idea.
We don't know what's going to happen, but frankly, the energy for Biden is probably just south of a old ladies bingo parlor. I mean, it is nil.
I mean, just look at settleforbiden.org. It's pretty hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's like
it's either like the most genius troll ever, like, I mean, that's A-level trolling. If it is, because it really comes off as like we are sincere. I mean, like, I do not understand it. Like, it's
funny.
It's so on point in this regard that, like, if it's trolling, this is like, S tier trolling at that point. I mean, this is like super, super amazing.
You mean this is greater than 4D chess?
They're playing like 9D string theory chess.
Okay. They're playing art of the deal chess. That's what they're playing.
So, speaking of chess,
nobody knows about dimensions more than me.
I've been to the fifth dimension. It was weird.
It was weird.
Oh my God.
Since I was great.
All right.
The guys there, they like me so much.